Warning, we are not trained or licensed professionals. Do not take any advice that we give as official doctoral prescribed medical treatment. We only use the name as a means to appreciate cinema as a therapeutic device, not to be confused with drugs, antidepressants, or any other forms of enhancements that you might find in legal states. Please enjoy responsibly.
Additional disclaimer. If the film says we can say it too. So check the film rating, and that will be our episode rating. Welcome to Film Therapy. I'm Madison. I'm here with my illustrious co-host, Jake.
Thank you for that introduction.
You're welcome. So today we watched Daredevil from 2003, the director's cut, a very specific niche film today.
I think I'm part of that niche.
Yes, so you liked this movie as a kid, right?
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. I saw both versions as a kid. I saw the theatrical cut first, and then when I saw the director's cut, I was like, what the hell is this? This is different. And then I was like, it's different. I don't like it. And then now that I'm older, I'm like, it's the only good version of the movie. It's the only version that exists.
Yeah.
And when I say I was a kid, I mean like really young, like early, like 8, 9, 10, maybe even younger than that. Because I would watch this in middle school also, and even by that point, I was like, oh yeah, the director's cut is like the movie.
You're a film nerd even back then.
Oh, I've been a film nerd my whole life. I'm surprised you just learned that
right,
now.
Yeah. So yeah, I did not know this movie existed somehow. I'm not sure why. I watched all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies when I was a kid. I love those. And then like those The Matrix and everything, both like heavily influenced in this movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a mashup between Sam Raimi Spider-Man and The Matrix, and that's pretty much what you got, Daredevil.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
There's like a bunch of slow-mo effects, tons of action, crazy, like, oh my gosh, okay. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
When they do like some of those shots where they go like CG on the inside of the gun with like the bullet like cocking in, and then it reminds me of the Matrix scene that we did in school where you like zoomed in on the phone.
Yes.
Or you zoomed in on the mask.
I'm still that is one of my proudest accomplishments ever.
It was so amazing. It was just like that, you know. It's like they zoom in on something really like crazy and then CG and turn it into something else. So, which is what you did. Yep.
Mine was more of a match cut.
True.
Did you enjoy watching this, and did you like this overall?
How are those questions different?
Because you can enjoy a bad movie. People enjoy The Room, even though it's, not a good movie.
So yes, I enjoyed watching this. I didn't know I was in the mood for it, but I totally was.
Oh, thank God.
Did I like it overall? Let's see. I mean, I'd probably give it like 2.5 stars. That's probably what I'm gonna rate it. But like, I enjoyed watching it. I actually was kind of immersed in the action, which I'm usually not, and I haven't been in the past few years,
Yeah. That's surprising. I love that.
So maybe it's because this was like so stylized and everything that it was just like interesting to watch, and it was hilarious that like the way that they throw their jackets off. There's several scenes where they do like jacket action. It's like a couple takes to where they throw off their jacket and they're like, yeah, and there's like these intense sound effects. It's like whoosh.
Yes.
So that was
funny. Great.
Oh, so should we recap real quick? Do you want to recap?
Blinded by toxic water when he was a young boy, Matt Murdock, played by Ben Affleck, has gained enhancements in the remaining senses. When his father dies, he sees it as a perfect opportunity to fight crime and help New York City. When he grows up, he becomes Daredevil, and every night risks life to stop those escaping prison. One person who still frees the biggest crime lord in New York, the Kingpin, played by Michael Clark Duncan. Whilst working as a lawyer, Matt becomes the masked hero to track down the Kingpin before anyone else he loves is taken out. That's a solid description, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's also Bullseye and Elektra, but
yeah,
they're not mentioned in that.
It kind of gets a little complicated with them.
It does. So Matt meets this girl named Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner, and they have a romance. And then Kingpin hires this killer named Bullseye to kill Elektra's dad, and Yeah, it just escalates.
What does Elektra's dad do?
I don't know. I know he works for the Kingpin, so he's in like crime dealing and stuff.
He works for the Kingpin, but then he angered the Kingpin somehow, and so the Kingpin hired this other guy to kill him.
Yeah, so there, that scene between him and Kingpin, he said like he wanted out, like he was done doing crime stuff, and then Kingpin didn't want any of that. So the director's cut is rated R, and the theatrical cut is PG-13 because this one's a little bit more violent, even though it's stylized.
And it's really not that violent.
No, not really. Especially by today's standards, it's really not.
Oh gosh, no. Like there's like people spitting blood, some stabbing. There's a strangulation scene that's kind of graphic.
There's the part when he like throws the paper clips into the guy's neck. That was kind of
That's just silly.
It's silly. It is.
How? Okay, first of all, not possible.
It's a superhero movie, Maddie. A lot of not possible things happened.
Right. You're right. And you should not even go there with this movie because
because if you go there, yeah. I mean, yeah, like do a lot of things happen that wouldn't happen? Absolutely.
100%.
But look at any superhero movie, that happens all the time.
True. So, Hell's Kitchen, that's in New York, right?
Yeah.
Why is it called Hell's Kitchen?
I don't know.
It was first used by Davy Crockett.
You mean like King of the Wild Frontier, like that Davy Crockett?
Mm-hmm.
Like the old Disney movie?
An Irish immigrant Davy Crockett in the early 1800s.
Yeah, isn't there a Disney movie about that?
Maybe, yeah, probably. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, 1955. Jeez, there's 4 of them. Seriously? Wow. Never would have guessed that. I guess some of them are shorts, but there's 2 features, so. I've never seen them. I just remember, like, I had, like, a Disney compilation CD of, like, you know, their, like, greatest songs or whatever from, like, Mary Poppins and Hercules and Lion King. I think, like, for some reason that song was on there, and then I was like, what the hell's this? Like, I've never seen this. Like Jungle Book, I know, like, Jungle Book, yeah, Little Mermaid, yeah, Pocahontas, but, like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Why is this black and white still of this live action guy here? I thought Disney was cartoons. Damn it! Me as like a 7-year-old just not cursing.
This is also a term. It comes from a German restaurant that was called Hell's Kitchen, and then somebody said, "This place is hell," and then the other person said, "Hell's a mild climate. This is Hell's Kitchen." Then we've got Gordon Ramsay's TV show, but, you know, that did not come before anything. But that's Hell's Kitchen because he's like a firecracker. Anyway, so this stars Ben Affleck and Jon Favreau and Jennifer Garner and Colin Farrell and Michael Clark Duncan. So I thought Ben Affleck did pretty well.
Yeah.
He's been Batman, and now he's going to be the Flash.
No, he's going to be Batman in the Flash. But I don't know if that's still happening.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because the Flash is in Justice League with Batman, and as Ben Affleck Batman, and then in the Flash that's his movie, and then Ben Affleck's going to be in it, I think. But I don't know if that's still happening.
Okay, all right.
But also, when they announced Ben Affleck's casting as Batman, like a lot of people were just like, that's not going to be good, and I'm like, I think it would be, and then, you know, he was like one of the better things about that movie.
I haven't seen any Ben Affleck as Batman movies.
You really don't need to, because they're all really, really long.
Yeah, no.
Because so Man of Steel is the movie I have significant problems with. It's 2.5 hours. Batman vs Superman is a bit better, but it's still really convoluted, and that's 3 hours. And then Justice League is 4 hours, because that's the Snyder Cut.
That is, no, absolutely not.
So both Batman vs Superman and Justice League both had theatrical cuts that are like the Daredevil cut, where the theatrical cuts make 0 sense, and then the director's cuts are like what the actual movie was. And both Batman vs Superman and this had their extended cuts. So their theatrical cuts were PG-13 movies, and then their extended cuts were a half hour longer, and they're both rated R. So yeah, that's
So,
interesting.
what's the director of this again?
Mark Steven Johnson. He also directed Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. This person also directed the movie When in Rome with Kristen Bell and Will Arnett.
Oh
And,
my gosh! Okay,
and
I forgot that existed.
he also directed Simon Birch, that's a good one too.
I haven't seen that. So I thought the lines that like the first act of the movie, everything that Ben Affleck said was so cheesy. It was all just like one-liners, like action superhero liners, and I did not like that at all. I feel like usually those are saved for the end of the movie, but he was just spewing them off first thing, and I was like, this is not a good first impression for me.
When he was like narrating, or when he came
Well,
on
that
screen?
too. When he came on screen, so I felt like the movie kind of spoon-fed you a bunch of stuff. It was like a lot of exposition and explanation, and then like shots of things that we didn't need to see.
Yeah.
Because we figured like you could figure out what it was, you know?
Yep.
But you know, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. I'm just smarter than that, you know? Don't want to be treated like a dum-dum.
No, you should always respect your audience. Yeah, don't ever underestimate your audience. One other movie I thought that did that, like spoon-fed you stuff, was Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm not gonna say what because it's a spoiler, or I can tell you if you don't. But like there's crucial bits of information that like I felt that was just like spoon-fed into you, and then that sounded really weird. And I'm just like we don't need this. Although I did like that movie, but Tuan didn't. So that was actually one of like the best after movie conversations we've had, because like I liked it, but I was kind of indifferent, and then he was like, I don't think I liked that, and I'm like, okay, interesting.
Did you see it together?
Mm-hmm.
That one was kind of rough for me. I felt like that was really heavy for me to watch. Like I have not watched it since the theater. I don't think I want to.
Yeah, me too. And then they show like Bruce's parents dying again, and I'm like, I've seen that. I've seen that I've seen that in 5 other movies, and the 5th time I'm like, this is way too old. It's in the first Batman, and then Batman Forever, which is technically a sequel, and then it's in Batman Begins, obviously, because that's the first one. It's in Mask of the Phantasm. It's in Batman vs Superman, and when it was in Batman vs Superman, I'm like, do we really need to start with the Waynes fucking dying? Like,
oh my god, it starts with that?
That's the first scene of the movie is them dying, and I'm like,
Lord.
fuck you, Zack Snyder. And when Joker did it, I'm like, are you kidding me? We really are seeing this again?
That's ridiculous.
I know that the Waynes fucking die, and little Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. There's a show called Gotham, and that's what that show's about. Like, everyone knows that. Even people who aren't superhero fans know that Bruce Wayne becomes Batman and his parents die. Like you go to a random person on the street, they will tell you that. I guarantee it.
Definitely.
I guarantee anyone. It's like Spider-Man. It's like, oh yeah, Uncle Ben dies, or Superman, his planet blows up.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows that.
We should put a poll on our Instagram page. Like, do you know who's? No, I'm trying to think of like how this. We need like a whole graph for this one because like, you need to know like Superman's alter ego, Bruce Wayne's alter ego, maybe just the Batman thing.
Do you know that Bruce Wayne's parents die? Yes or no? I mean, they can lie because I just told them, but like,
yeah.
What happens to Bruce Wayne's parents? They die. They go to heaven. They go into SpongeBob's brain. They go to the chocolate factory.
Which one?
Yeah, which one? What happens to Bruce Wayne's parents? Do they get turned into blueberries? Do they go up a pipe? Do they get shrunk down and sent through the TV? Or do they get fucking shot in an alley? Okay, yeah. So back to the movie.
Okay, so you said you didn't watch the Daredevil Netflix series.
No.
I watched the first season with Charlie Cox, right?
Yes.
I like him a lot. I thought he was really good at Daredevil.
That's really great. I've heard the Netflix show is fantastic. I would like to watch it, But in order to understand the full story, I have to watch the Defenders between seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to watch Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Punisher, whatever the hell else I have to watch. I'm sure I could just watch Defenders and be fine, but like whenever you watch a crossover and you haven't seen everything, you feel like you're missing out.
Definitely. And that's kind of where I am gotten with the Marvel stuff now.
Me too.
It's like there is just so much I have to watch, especially all these Disney Plus shows and everything now. Nope, I just can't do it. I'm tapping out. Sorry, Marvel.
I tapped out too. I don't know if I've said that on the podcast or not, or if I've even told you that, but that's the realization I've had in the last week, where I'm just like, I have to tap out because I don't want to watch Loki. I want to watch other shit instead, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
I want to watch the shows I want to watch, and I want to stop watching things out of obligation.
Definitely.
Because that's how it felt.
Definitely.
Because to me, Endgame is the ending. And like, yeah, I want to see Spider-Man No Way Home. I want to see Guardians 3. I kind of want to see more Doctor Strange just because of Sam Raimi. But like, I'm not going to sit down and watch every little Marvel thing anymore. Because especially if I wanted to, I would. But I'm done watching things out of obligation. Because even with Endgame, I felt like there was like some stuff I was watching where it was more obligation just to get ready for it.
Definitely. Same.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly how I feel too. So nothing to add there. Yeah.
And I guess I'll say also, it's not like I'm like, oh, screw this, I'm done. Well, it kind of is, but it's a more just like peaceful, I'm just gonna walk away reaction.
Yeah, definitely. It's not like I hate everything Marvel.
No, it's not like we had a bitter fight or a bitter breakup or anything like that. We just
we're still friends.
Yeah, we're still friends. I'll still check up on you and make sure you're doing okay. But like that's it. Sorry,
that's it. I'm not gonna like really invest myself into this relationship anymore.
Right. Because I think I just realized and I think this is why I didn't enjoy Falcon and Winter Soldier that much, because I was forcibly investing myself into watching it when I really had no desire to watch it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if Wilton and I watched all of it together, but we watched some of it together, and that was great because, watching stuff with him is always great. But like, while watching it, I just realized like when it ended, I'm just like, wow, I felt nothing watching that. It didn't do anything for me at all. So like, because like, sorry, I'm delving into this. But like, so like the first episode doesn't have a lot of action. It's just about like the characters, like where they are after after Endgame. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting because like Sam's here and Bucky's here and it's just like them talking. And then they just kept doing more action. And I'm just like, I'm just kind of bored. And like, I don't care about whatever this evil organization is doing. I don't care about this new Captain America. I don't care about any of that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that off my chest. Thank you for permitting me to do that.
Yes, this is film therapy. This is what we're here to do, man.
It's therapy.
To get out of bad relationships. Well, this isn't a bad relationship, but it's just
like Star Wars.
Like Star Wars is toxic. Yes,
Star Wars is
out
very
of that.
toxic. I'm out of it.
We are moving on. We've discussed our relationship with Marvel, and now we're moving on. We have a great relationship with David Lynch. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
I was also thinking in terms of filming, how much filming action sequences would suck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's just so much going on, like quick, tiny little shots from every angle, and then editing it. Oh god, editing it too.
Yeah, no, certainly. I definitely wouldn't want to direct action scenes, I don't think. What did you think of the beginning with Matt and his dad?
I really liked it, actually. I was pretty enthralled in it. It was kind of weird and interesting that his dad was like a kind of a celebrity type character, not like a businessman or like a lawyer, but he ended up being a lawyer, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was kind of like living on the edge, just fighting for his money, maybe even just robbing people for money instead of having an actual job. And
yeah,
and then I think that kind of influences Matt Murdock in a way then, where he feels like he has to, 1, avenge his father, and 2, stop the real evil from happening.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's kind of a dark character himself.
Yeah, and then it's like the part when he says like, Dad and I promised each other that we'd like stick up for like the little guy, like look out for the little guy. I think like he does that because he's like defending these clients that, and then Jon Favreau's always like why don't we do these? Why do we do people who pay in fish? Why don't we do like these rich clients on the other side of town? And then Matt's like, we only do clients that are innocent.
Right. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's actually a really good principle to have.
So you said that one defendant was Coolio?
Yeah, so this movie would be a 10 out of 10 if Coolio sang the Kenan and Kel theme song. Unfortunately, he does not. But he's the main guy that they're defending in this movie. Dante Jackson is the character name.
He was good. I liked him.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said that Jon Favreau and Ben Affleck met on this set?
Oh no, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner met on this set.
Oh, okay.
And then they were married for a long time.
This was 2003. Then they were married in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, all this stuff about Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez is going on. So they just went Instagram official. They're dating, just in case you're wondering.
Oh man.
So they're back at it. So they were engaged in 2004, and then he ended up marrying Jennifer Garner in 2005, which is interesting.
Okay.
So they have 3 kids together, him and Jennifer Garner.
Mm-hmm. 2 Jennifers.
Yeah. Man.
What other Jennifers are there? There's Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes. Jennifer from War Games. Ali Sheedy's character.
That doesn't count.
That counts. Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lopez is the first person who pops up for Jennifer. Interesting. It's because she's super... Oh, Jennifer
Lynch. She wrote Laura's Diary.
Oh, what?
So the actual book, The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, was written by Jennifer Lynch, who's David Lynch's daughter. Did you know that?
Oh, like the actual...
Yeah, the actual book is written by Jennifer Lynch.
When she was how old?
I don't know. I think she was like 16 or younger. She might have even... Let me see. She was 22 at the time. So she was as old as I am. So does that mean that my novel is like my version of Laura's Diary? I don't know. It's dark. Yes. It's dark. It's about similar subject matter. I just realized. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even make that connection. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Jennifer Lynch's name starts with a J, so does mine.
Crazy.
I wonder what it would be like to have David Lynch as your dad.
Probably not good because he obviously didn't want his first child, aka Eraserhead.
Yeah. I remember that. Like when you first saw that movie, that was like the first thing you said was like that.
Yeah, that's just like that's public knowledge, and then I'm sure his firstborn is like, well, all right, fuck you, Dad.
Yeah.
So a question, when did the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man come out? 2001?
2002.
2002? So then this came right after that, before Spider-Man 2?
Yes.
And Spider-Man 2 was also 2003 or 2004?
Spider-Man 2 was 2004. Spider-Man 3 was 2007.
Okay, because with him jumping all over the city and everything, I was just like, Spider-Man. But then the last scenes, in the church with the pipe organ is totally right out of Spider-Man 3, so I think Spider-Man 3 stole their stuff back, and they're like, okay, I see you. I'm gonna one-up you.
I'm gonna do you better.
Because definitely he's like ringing the pipes just like Spider-Man is with Venom, and...
Yeah. The noise affects him.
Yeah. Which I don't really understand, like, scientifically with Daredevil, because, like, he purposefully cranks his music up really loud, and I feel like if he can hear everything really enhanced, I just don't understand why he would do that.
So, yeah, I don't know for sure either. My take on it is that, what I thought is that he hears by sound. It's like the first scene when he's blind and he's like a kid and he's in the hospital, like there's all those sounds and it's like overwhelming. And that's why he sleeps in a sensory deprivation tank, and that's why he cranks his music, because he hears everything.
Oh, he sleeps in there?
Yeah, he sleeps in there because that's the only way he drowns the noise out.
Oh, okay. I didn't put that together, but
Because there's like the scene when the girl Lisa's like dying and he can hear it and it's as if she's like right next to him. Then that's why he goes in the tank is to like mute everything because he hears that shit all the time, like constantly.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense with the loud music. It's like also like at what point I wonder does it drive him crazy rather than help him?
I don't know, but I like the idea that the movie Ben Affleck movie is called The Accountant. It's somehow connected to this movie. I'm gonna say it's connected like how we connected the Lucy trilogy, because in that movie Ben Affleck plays loud music also. That's my only thing. Okay, seriously though, when I watched The Accountant, my I had a few ideas where I'm like, what if this was a sequel to Daredevil? And then I think I drew a few connections, but since it's been a while since I've seen it, all I remember is that he just plays really loud music because he needs it to cope for some reason. I forget why. Like how he does in this movie. So like
in Baby Driver?
Yeah.
You want to talk about electric nachos?
Yes, I do. Firstly, So did you have anything else to add about him as a kid with him and his dad?
Oh,
I dare ya.
I dare you.
Okay.
I dare you in a Dutch angle to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. I was pretty encapsulated by the beginning. I was hooked.
I'm glad that you liked that. I think like the casting, the kid kind of looks like Ben Affleck, like with the sunglasses and the hair.
Yeah.
Like you can see that's how he would. Like there's that one shot, and I'm like, oh, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like that his dad was like, I don't want you to be fighting. I want you to be like a lawyer or something. And then that's what he does, even though he does fight.
Mm-hmm. He's like, all right, I'll one up you.
I'll do both.
¿Por qué no los dos, padre?
Yeah, so we'll talk about Elektra. There is also a movie called Elektra that they made after this. It came out in 2005. Ben Affleck is not in it. It's another movie that I have a huge amount of nostalgia for, and I loved it as a kid and thought it was super awesome. And then I got older and found out a lot of people, like the consensus on that movie is it's really, really bad. And then me, I'm still like, I kind of still like it. Like,
okay, so is it like a prequel?
No. So it takes place after, and then this happens in the comics too. So, as Elektra gets brought back to life, and then it's a whole separate other story.
Oh, Lord.
It has no connection to Daredevil at all. And then they did film a scene with Ben Affleck where she like dreams about him, but then they cut it out of the movie, which is weird. And then they were going to do a sequel to this, and then they ended up and didn't. And then, like, I wish they had, but even though I've heard the Netflix show is, like, amazing in every way. Yeah, so I enjoyed this movie, and I enjoyed Elektra. I think I watched that one more as a kid because it's shorter, and it's, like, more accessible. It's not, like, a legal drama. It's just, like, more, like, action and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. How long is that movie? I think it's, like, pretty short, actually. But yeah, Elektra is, like, 97 minutes, so it's really short.
Dang. I want to know what her little sword things are called.
They're called Sais.
Sais? How do you spell that?
S-A-I-S.
Oh, is it like a Japanese thing?
I believe so. The director of Elektra also directed the first X-Files movie. And a lot of episodes, too.
And how do you feel about the first X-Files movie?
I love that movie. It is the peak of X-Files in my mind. Everything goes downhill from that movie.
Oh, okay.
That's not to say the later seasons are all bad, but there's definitely a decrease after that movie, like immediately for me. It's like the first few seasons just keep getting better and better, and then the movie's like, wow. And then like season 6 onward gets a little bit lesser and lesser. And then it kind of gets back up. It goes up and down after that.
Yeah.
Although I do think the second movie is underrated, so the revival is also very, very mixed. Once I saw Twin Peaks: The Return, I'm like, this is how you do a revival. They try to make it both a sequel and a retcon, and it just falls completely flat.
What's a retcon?
A retcon is when you go back and change something. So like an example, a minor example, spoilers for Spider-Man 3, is in Spider-Man 1 they say this guy killed Uncle Ben, and then Spider-Man 3 they say Sandman killed Uncle Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, so it stands for retroactive continuity. So it's like let's say in the first movie you establish something like this is the canon. And then in the next movie you're like, "Oh, actually, this is what happened and it contradicts what came before."
Okay.
No, I don't want to use Star Wars, but I'm sorry, this is an example. So, spoilers for the Star Wars sequels. So in Star Wars Episode 8, they're like, "Oh yeah, like Rey, like you're your own person and your parents weren't anybody important." And then in Episode 9, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the Emperor's granddaughter."
Oh.
So that's a retcon. Like one movie establishes something, and then the next movie establishes something that contradicts the previous movie's example.
Okay.
So like a Friday the 13th movie would do that, but that's like not a good example because those movies have loose continuity anyway.
Oh my god, yeah, okay. Totally.
So yes, like isn't there one of the movies where they're like, "Oh yeah, Jason wasn't killed this way, he was killed that way." Like that's a retcon.
Or just like the one where they made up his entire family and then his daughter and his...
Yes, that's a retcon.
Got it.
Yes, so the X-Files revival basically tries to retcon everything, but it also tries to be a sequel to everything. And you can't really do both.
Oh boy, yeah.
And it's really, like, dumb. It's like, if you could make it any other way, why would you do this? Anyway, getting off track. Let's talk about Elektra. I do like their relationship in this movie. It was definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie as a kid because a lot of it was just them fighting on the playground and them fighting on the rooftop and then them having their emotional moment on the rooftop. And then, like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess even when I was a kid, I was like I was interested in like the romantic parts of movies. And when I first saw this, it was really shocking because I'm like, wait, the girlfriend dies? That doesn't happen in superhero movies.
Yeah, that's a pretty big, pretty shocking point in the movie.
Did you know that was going to happen?
No, and I kind of expected her to like come back, but no.
Yeah, well, she does come back, just not in this movie. And then that was one thing I was that's like the reason I wanted to see a sequel when I was young and even kind of now, because I'm like I wanted to see them like fight alongside each other. Mm-hmm. Like that'd have been cool.
Yeah, because
they never really do that.
They could be the next Mr. and Mrs. Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, because there's Elastigirl, Elektra, same thing.
Mm-hmm. Electric Nachos.
Electric Nachos. I totally wasn't expecting her like actual name to be Elektra, but I guess that's a Greek name.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's the I just know it as her name, so like,
Oh, yes, it is. It means amber and thus shining and incandescent in Greek.
It's funny because like both Matt and Elektra, they both lost their moms when I don't even know if Matt's mom is like ever mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't think she is, but
yeah.
like she lost her mom when she was young, and that's actually like they show that in Elektra, like they show like the flashback of when her mom dies.
Oh, okay.
Because another character also had her mom die, and it's like that's how they bond. But yeah, so then they both lose their dads over the course of the movie.
Yeah.
But then and then even though Matt takes vengeance as his route, he does grow out of it, and then Elektra doesn't, and then that's like how she dies, is that she's just too consumed by vengeance.
Her demise, yes.
What did you think of their fight in the playground and then their fight on the rooftop?
Oh my god, the fight on the playground was insane. I was like, okay, what are we watching now? Kung Pao? It was so cheesy, oh my god.
I still love it. I loved it unironically as a kid, and now I kind of love it both ironically and unironically. It's like supposed to be, like, this is the beginning of the relationship, and then that's the end of their relationship, like the two fights or whatever.
Yeah.
I still view it in the way I viewed it as a kid. Like, that's just, like, me as my inner child. But then, like, watching it now, I'm like, this is so cheesy, but I love it because it's cheesy. Mm-hmm. So it's like I have both perspectives. If that makes any sense.
Just, I couldn't handle the jackets. They both turn to face the camera and whip off their jackets, and then they're like...
And he throws his, like, stick in the air.
Yeah, what? He's like,
so great.
You're holding back, and she's like, yeah, and he's like, don't.
It's the closest they ever get to having sex in the movie.
Right? That's
like
what I was
him
thinking.
holding
It's
her
just like
that.
totally like sexual tension. And then I was thinking like she probably could have figured out who he was from his fighting style like later on, but I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like Spider-Man where she kisses him as both Daredevil and Matt Murdock, and then she's like, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was stupid. Like that phone call that the voicemail he got right at the beginning of like from this girl who was like, "You're a terrible boyfriend. I haven't even seen your apartment." And that they should have cut that out. That did not need. No, we did not need that.
Was it like the acting or just because what she was saying?
It's just like why did we need to know that he's like been flighty with this some other woman, and then it doesn't even matter the entire time because he meets Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
That doesn't play into anything that happens in their relationship. So
No, it really doesn't. Maybe it's a comic book thing, but
and like obviously we know he's a vigilante. Yeah, maybe he's like some sort of ex-girlfriend he had in the comments or something. Or comics? Not comments. Comics.
yeah, comic. Yeah. But I don't know, because I don't know a lot about Daredevil comics.
Me either.
You think I would have read a lot as a kid just because of how much I loved this movie, but like I never really read comics as a kid, so.
Me either. There's just too many. Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
I just can't get on board if there's too many storylines, this version, this.
Yes, oh yes, and then what'd you think of their fight on the rooftop?
I don't really have much to say about that. What do you think?
I just think it's kind of cool.
And then I wanted to talk about Bullseye, though.
Okay.
First of all, where did he come from? We're in Ireland all of a sudden. He's just throwing darts.
And then the song's like, "Hey, I'm Irish," or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, "Hey, I'm an Irishman," and then it's like, "Oh, hey, Colin Farrell. Oh, we're in Ireland? Okay, cool." Like, so obvious.
The music in this movie is so on the nose, but I love that it is so on the nose.
Two Evanescence songs.
Evanescence is Elektra's thoughts.
Yes.
In this movie,
it's her
like it's her
musical
inner
diary.
monologue. if this is a book, that'd be like her inner thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. So then Bullseye, his whole thing is just so cheesy. Everything he does is funny and stupid. I don't because like it's for me it didn't click that Kingpin hired him.
So you decided he just showed up.
Yeah, I'm just like, who is this random guy? I don't care about him. I hate everything he does. Why are we watching him at the airport going through security? Like, what? Why? Director's cut. Who? Yeah. And honestly, though, I think it was kind of an interesting take that he didn't talk. He didn't have that much dialogue. Because usually the stupid villains like that just talk way too much and they're like, blah, 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 blah. And so I could barely, like, tell that he was an Irishman because he only said a few lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just, I know Colin Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
All of his actions were so cheesy, he didn't need to say cheesy stuff too, so...
No. Like there's the one scene when he like throws the weapon at Daredevil and then Daredevil throws it back and he's like spinning around and he gets hit by it. It's like, what did you think was gonna happen?
It's just like la 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 la.
It's so stupid.
I'm gonna twirl around.
That's literally what he was doing.
And then it's like,
he was just twirling around.
I got hit. Oh no.
I got hit on the head, right on the bullseye.
Ouchie.
It's on my head.
Yeah, a carved bullseye into his forehead. That's classy, dude.
I'm sure that's like in the comic or something, but it's just
definitely.
it's so great. It's so funny. Yeah, the scene with him in the airport definitely wasn't needed. And then there's the scene with him on the plane with the old lady. It's like, why are we seeing his whole journey?
What the hell? He just kills an old lady.
What's the point of that?
Like, maybe just like put your earbuds in and like pretend to be asleep instead of killing an old lady, dude.
I think his earbuds were in because he was listening to like some
Oh,
song.
you're right, they were. Definitely not noise canceling.
No. Clearly not. He took it into his own hands to cancel the noise.
Oh shit.
He canceled the noise himself.
He canceled that noise. Yeah, let's see. So how did he go down?
Matt shoots. He gets shot through the hands, and Matt chucks him through the window.
He gets shot through the hands. He's like, "No, my magic is gone." And then he throws him through the window. Oh, no, he doesn't even die, though, because he ends up in the hospital, so he can come back.
Yeah. Yep.
He's gonna come
And then
back.
Kingpin's in jail along with Wesley.
What?
Not Wesley from Princess Bride, but the other Wesley.
Talk about Wesley. I'm not sure about he killed Lisa.
Yes.
Lisa, the sex worker. And why was that
Yes.
part of it? I don't understand that storyline.
So Coolio was framed for killing her, and then it was really him.
Oh. Okay.
So it's literally the whole like backbone of the story. It's like, that's what leads into the Kingpin. That's what leads the reporter guy Ben Urich to the Kingpin, and that's what like gets the Kingpin arrested, and that's like.
Oh, well, I missed that. So go me. Didn't spoon feed me that much, I guess.
No, it didn't spoon feed you that part. It spoon feed you the part you already knew.
Yeah.
It's ass backwards a little bit.
It is. Okay, all right. That makes more sense.
Every scene that Matt and Elektra have together, every moment they have together always gets interrupted. Because the first time he hears those bad guys talking about the Kingpin. So then he's like, oh, I have to go and, help the innocent. And then like the other time is when her dad gets called away because he's like, oh shoot, I gotta go because they're gonna kill me. And then he dies. And then it's like his funeral. And then she's not like receptive to him because she's like in grief and vengeance mode. And then like, the last time is when she dies.
Mm-hmm.
So
Damn. Can't catch her break.
also in the first time, like her bodyguard shows up and then he's like, your bodyguard? And she just like kicked the shit out of him. There's the sequence of events where like Jon Favreau, Foggy Nelson is he's at the court one day by himself and he's not doing well because Matt's not there because Matt's at Elektra's funeral. Or Elektra's dad's funeral, I mean. Then Matt learns from the reporter guy, from Ben Urich, that, that Coolio's innocent and that Officer McKenzie was like, doing some shady stuff. So then Matt goes to McKenzie and then he's like, I've never driven a stick shift before. And that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Just him crashing his car.
That was great. That was a great scene.
And then when the officer's like, Kingpin just doesn't kill you, he kills your whole family. He's not going to stop. Then Matt's like, oh shit. So then he, leaves and goes home and suits up and to go protect Elektra.
Mm-hmm.
Then the theatrical cut is like, hey, let's stitch some random scenes together and hope it's cohesive. Spoilers, it's not. So literally the movie is structured so differently. So first of all, a half hour is taken out of the movie. Everything about Coolio and Lisa Tazio and Wesley Owen Welsh and Ben Urich, the reporter, trying to find the Kingpin, and Matt learning from Mackenzie that Elektra's next, all that is taken out.
Oh, wow.
And then what they do instead is they have a 30-second scene where Matt's just walking down the street one random day, runs into the reporter, and the reporter's just like, I got this lead about the Kingpin, he kills your whole family. And then Matt's like, oh shit. And then it just cuts to Elektra training at night. So it makes no sense. I think like when they go in, when Kingpin's like, those sirens are coming for you. And then Matt's like, like the word's out on the Kingpin. It makes no sense because like none of that is there. It's just like, oh, they just caught the Kingpin, I guess. And also Matt just waited the whole day. He didn't like try to call Elektra or anything. He just like waits until night.
That's weird.
And then like the scenes of like Matt at the church talking to the priest and he's like trying to find salvation. Because he's like, at night when he like tells the kid he's not the bad guy and then he's like, he doesn't know if he is or not.
Yeah.
And then like he like goes to the church and tries to find salvation. That scene of him at the church in the morning isn't there. So like what they do is they have that scene they have that fight scene at random. Then Matt meets the kid and then he's like confused about his identity. And then we just cut to work that next day when Matt's like, I had a rough night. And then Jon Favreau's like, hey, you got invited to this dance. And then after that is the rooftop scene with Elektra. And it's like, that doesn't make sense because all they did was fight in the playground. Like, why would she invite him?
That's so weird.
Based on that.
Okay.
The fact that like Ben Urich gets like the information from Jon Favreau about like the whole case, that's all like cut to. So it's just like, oh, he just gets it somehow, just because we don't see how he gets it. He also just figures out who Matt is, like that he's Daredevil. There's no like scene where he's like, hey, I figured out that you're Daredevil. After the rooftop scene, Matt here, so like we've already had the I'm not the bad guy part, and then Matt's like on the rooftop with Elektra. And then he's gonna leave, and then she asks him to stay, and then he does, and then there's a sex scene, and then it just cuts to them at the dance, and it's like, okay, that's weird.
Oh, what? There's a sex scene in that one, but not this one?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. The movie doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like that's literally like half the movie. The literal backbone of the movie is like when you're like, oh, Coolio was like framed for this murder, but it was really the Kingpin's like lackey. But like all that's taken out. Like there's no like none of that happens. It's just like Bullseye's here and he's for some reason and Elektra's dad dies and then like they fight.
Yeah, why wouldn't they cut out the Bullseye part? Because
They didn't cut any of that out.
that could use some cutting.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, so it's like that theme of like all their moments being interrupted, but then the other one it's like, nope, they get their time.
All right.
Let me check if there's anything else, because that's like that's a pretty significant chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
Because like how does the movie, and it does, and also like scenes are like at different random points. There's that scene when like he goes to the morgue and then the guy's like, hey, here's Daredevil's stick.
Yeah.
That's just like that's like they just put that like at a random part of the movie, and then like the scene after that is when like Kingpin tells Bullseye to kill Elektra, and then Bullseye doesn't say fuck because it's a PG-13 movie. The whole thing with Coolio, like you have to have that for the movie to make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of little moments are cut down. Like there's a couple less moments with Matt and his dad. Like little scenes are trimmed here and there. So remember when we were watching the movie and in the director's cut, I'm like, hey, scenes lead to other scenes. Screenwriting 101.
Right. There were some really good transitions. I appreciated that.
Yeah. It's like, of course, Matt would go try to find Elektra right after he finds out she could be killed. In the other version, it's like, oh, he's just walking down the street. It's like, does he just fucking wait the whole day? Like, why doesn't he like call her or something?
That does not make sense.
When he sees the little boy, it's almost like he kind of sees himself in a way, I guess. Is that the theme they're going for?
Definitely.
Then he like, okay, I'm gonna go to the priest and because I can't find it within myself. But then like in the other version, it's just like, oh, it's just a scene that happens.
Yeah. What?
All the fight scenes are shorter, like by a little bit, which is kind of fine. But like, yeah, and they're like the editing is more choppy all around. The scene like at the funeral, it just ends with like when Elektra leaves. It doesn't show like the reporter Ben Urich just being like, hey, like I found out this stuff about your client, because like obviously that plot line's not in the theatrical cut.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird. It's a terrible movie. Don't watch it.
Okay.
I'm like it's so bad. Pretty much every scene is just like it's like, where can we cut it to make it shorter? And it's like the movie, it's long, but it's not that long. It's like just over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not
like
that long.
That's pretty short for today's standards, at least.
Yeah, totally. And I felt like there wasn't like a huge like 45-minute action sequence at the end. Like there was a good mix of narrative and action, I felt, and it carried me along.
I'm actually really surprised because I figured like by the end of the movie you'd just be kind of like fading out because it's like, just a lot of action.
No, I think it was a good mix.
Mm-hmm. Obviously there are action scenes, but there's a lot of narrative that happens between each one.
Yeah. And like there's a lot of the plot that is driven narratively. Like there's like 4 storylines. So you kind of need that, yeah.
And then in the other cut, it's like there's 1.5 storylines. Like they're just like, oh yeah, we caught the Kingpin in the background somehow. Oh yeah, he knows he's Daredevil somehow. Oh yeah, like
right, yeah, what?
like Elektra happens to be in this location somehow. Oh, Daredevil like is just questioning himself, but not really. And then he gets to have sex with his girlfriend, and then they go to a dance, and then like
That's weird.
If you want to see how you can fuck up a movie's editing, watch the theatrical cut of Daredevil.
Yes.
I mean, like at least like in Superman 2 is also another example, but that's like a whole different situation because that's different directors. But like even in like the theatrical cut of Legend, there's still Tangerine Dream. There's still like great things in that version. It's lesser, but it still makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like this version doesn't make any sense, the theatrical cut of Daredevil. Which is ironic because the same thing is true of Batman vs. Superman, where the director's cut is the movie, the theatrical cut makes no sense, and it's a half hour shorter, and they both have Ben Affleck. So, sorry to Ben Affleck. Although I don't know if he's like a good guy in real life. I don't know, but like
I don't know.
He got screwed over twice.
Karma, man. Maybe he's a dick.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a good actor though.
He's a good actor. Watching
this again, there's a dance scene in Batman Returns that's also like gets interrupted, and it reminded me of this scene in this movie when they're dancing, Matt and Elektra, a little bit. So yeah, Also, Batman Returns is really good. I love that movie. It's a Christmas movie and it's a Batman movie, so you know. Yeah, so I am curious to see the Netflix series because I know that like season 2 is the Elektra storyline, and then that's like where my investment would be because that was like my favorite part of the movie when I was a kid, just because it was like them fighting and then like them fighting again, just like all the fight scenes. But then like you know like their story also was just like, aw.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
This is a little weird fun fact, but I don't think I've actually seen the theatrical cut in widescreen because the old DVD I used to have was full screen, and I first saw it on VHS, actually. I rented it from the video store, and so I saw it on VHS first. So I don't think I've seen the theatrical cut in widescreen. So like when I watched the director's cut as a kid, I'm like, oh, some shots look different. That's part of what's different. But it was just because it wasn't cropped. So, like, in the full screen one, like, when they both take off their jackets, it's just Matt taking off his jacket. So then, like, in the director's cut, I'm like, oh, that's cool that they both take off their jackets. Because I was, like, I don't know, 11 years old. I didn't know, like, I knew what full screen and widescreen was, but, like, I didn't make the connection in my head.
Yeah.
Because I was more like, oh, what's the differences? Because I'm, like, a film student, even though I'm, like, you know, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, so I don't think I have anything else about this movie. I just recommend it to people because it's, like, it's a nostalgic childhood movie that I really liked. As a kid, I definitely liked it more than Supergirl. They're both flawed movies. They're both silly movies, but I liked them both as a kid, and I liked them both as an adult, even if they're for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Just saying that, I kind of want to watch Supergirl again. Yeah, so like Supergirl and Elektra were two like female-led superhero movies that I saw as a kid that I enjoyed. Although Elektra was probably like the one I saw most out of the three. Because that movie's about like she's fighting this like this crime boss and his like family or like something like that, and it's really comic booky and it's like kind of fun, but I haven't seen it in like 5 years, so I don't know if it's still good. But she does wear red in that one, and in this one it's black, so that is more comic accurate.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that she was in black. She was in red for one outfit,
and I just noticed it like just watching this time. I'm like, oh, she's wearing red. It's like in the comic.
Yeah.
And then I felt like really stupid that I hadn't noticed that since then. But I'm like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so like,
yeah, I just thought it was weird that she was wearing like just plain old clothes when he first saw her. It was kind of a weird introduction to her because I felt like he actually knew her and they knew each other, but they didn't.
They did on another level, just not.
I guess. Yeah. Because I thought like they had a past and she was ignoring him because he was like an annoying ex-boyfriend or something.
Oh, interesting. Did you think she was the one who called him?
Yeah, for a second I did, yeah. So I was kind of confused by that.
Yeah, Elektra is definitely more of like a straightforward, like just like fun movie.
Okay.
That one actually might be fun to discuss. If I say that, it's gonna hype it up too much. It's definitely more like Supergirl than like this movie is. Mm-hmm. Not just because it's like a female-led superhero, but because it's like the story is like she has to go get the little like sphere. You know, like that's easy.
Yeah.
In Elektra, it's like a simple story like that. But then like in Daredevil, it's like, oh, there's like 5 things going on.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot going on.
I thought about writing and making a video essay about this movie and why I like it. I don't know if I'm still gonna do that, but I have a little bit written down if I decide to do that. So if I do, that could start a YouTube series where I'm like, hey, I analyze movies that I like that other people don't like.
Do it.
I don't have anything else about this movie. I just recommend it.
Okay.
It's somehow both super cheesy and silly, but also dark at the same time. Like, it's such a weird tonal shift.
Yeah, it is. And I think Jon Favreau is like the comedic relief, and he does a great job at that. I find all of their scenes great. But they flow pretty well together. It's not just like one after the other, that it's just like a blunt cut. I think it had a good wave of comedy to serious and dramatic back to comedy. So yeah,
Elektra's death is actually kind of brutal.
It is, yeah.
She just gets like the crap beat out of her, and then she gets like thrown across rooftops and like smashed into buildings and shit.
Yeah.
And then she gets like stabbed.
Yeah.
And then she comes back, but not in this movie. Do you remember the scene in the rooftop when he like sees her necklace and then he's like, you know, like oh, that's beautiful. Do they make one in Braille? And then like that's the one he finds later on.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
Yes, that's like what that scene was like. Yeah, like if it's weird because like if it was like a movie now, I feel like she would come back. Like in this movie, like she'd like to show up and be like, "Hey, I'm not dead."
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But like imagine that, like if she actually won against Bullseye and then they went to go take down like Kingpin together. Like, that'd be more satisfying.
Yeah, totally.
But I guess life isn't always satisfying.
I kind of like sad endings or like disappointing things. Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I get annoyed with Marvel is that they do bring everyone back, and it's like,
yeah, I mean, I do love the big moment in Endgame, but at the same time, it'd be much more interesting if they didn't bring everyone back.
right? Yeah.
You know, that'd be so much more interesting. Because, like, the first hour of that movie is just everybody just, like, dealing with their grief.
Okay.
And, like, how it's still there after all this time.
I just made this connection. It is the same thing as Hollywood in a whole being like, they can't let nostalgia go. They can't let these things that people once loved, like 30, 40, 20 years ago, and they just have to keep bringing them back. They have to keep remaking them. Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
But I don't think that was Marvel's intention. I think that's just your intelligence. I don't think, as much as I love Endgame, I don't think the writers were thinking that way.
Okay.
I think that comes down to how smart you are.
Hair flip. Hire me. Someone hire me.
I'll hire you.
Okay.
I don't know if I can pay you in money, but I'll find some way to pay you that's rewarding.
Pay me in fish.
I'll pay you in fish. There's a fish in the percolator.
All right, so do you want to talk about what we watched recently?
Yes, what did you watch recently?
I've only watched a couple things. Not very much, but I will say I watched the movie from 97, Kiss the Girls, with Morgan Freeman.
I haven't seen that. Is that any good?
It was good. It was based on the James Patterson novel, with like the Alex Cross character. So Morgan Freeman plays Alex Cross.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of Silence of the Lambsy. It's got like a really strong female lead and a whole trick ending and everything. It was entertaining. I love those, murder mystery type things. And it was kind of different because you get to see a bunch of the victims like
ooh, interesting.
alive and like what he's doing to them and like how he's keeping it's like kind of like culty but dungeony slave stuff. I don't know.
Sounds kind of gruesome.
It was gruesome. There's a pretty graphic scene in it. Yeah, that I don't know if I would recommend for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll just watch it with somebody, and I'll just like hide when that scene comes.
Yeah. But the acting was really great and the story was good. So
that's great. I'm glad you found merit in that.
yes. And then I also watched Adaptation, which you need to see.
That's Sean Connery, right?
No, Nicolas Cage.
No, that's Entrapment. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Nicolas Cage is in Adaptation. Okay, this one I have heard of.
And Charlie Kaufman wrote it, and it's about himself. It's so meta. It's just really crazy. You can't even try to wrap your mind around it because you get too confused. So you just kind of got to ride that weird meta wave and just see where it takes you. Because they've got like scenes of Charlie Kaufman, aka like Nick Cage, on set of Being John Malkovich, which he also wrote, Okay. And have you seen that one?
No, do I need to watch that first?
You don't need to, but it's just nice to see it before. I think you should.
So that'd be like a double feature then?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Well, sit me down and show them to me.
Okay. But yeah, Adaptation, it's all about like the writer's process and everything. It's just really, really, really
fascinating.
Good. I think you would enjoy it. It really grabbed my attention. I did not even look for my phone when I was watching. I didn't text anyone. I didn't scroll anything. I didn't get up and do things. And that's saying something for me these days with watching a movie, so.
I mean, me too. That's when you know you've got a good movie, is when your distractions don't even matter.
Mm-hmm. But that's all I watched. What about you?
Okay, so Tuan and I went to the movie theater and we saw Bo Burnham Inside.
Yes!
And the crowd was totally vibing with it. And it was glorious. It was funny. It was emotional. It was It was incredible. It's like the perfect time for me to watch Bo Burnham for the first time because like I haven't seen Words, but now I want to go back and see it just because I want more Bo Burnham. But Inside was great. I really felt a lot of the emotions of it.
Good.
And then Tune and I also watched. We not the Pixar ones, but one of the discs we have in our collection is the Walt Disney animated shorts collection. So it's like some of their more current ones.
Oh.
So it has a bunch of shorts on it. Some are great, some are not that good, some are whatever. And then it also has Little Match Girl and Paperman, which are both incredible. And Paperman is one of my favorite things ever. It's so glorious and beautiful and amazing. And I actually saw that in the theater because it was the short they played before Wreck-It Ralph. And Wreck-It Ralph was a decent movie, but like after seeing Paperman, it's like when I walked out of the theater, and this is me at like 13 years old even. I walked out of the theater and then I was like, Wreck-It Ralph was fine, but like that short before it though was like amazing. It's like 6 minutes long. It's like just a guy meeting a girl, and it's like the sweetest thing. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm-mm.
It's probably on Disney Plus. It's like 6 minutes long. Honestly, just take 6 minutes out of your night to watch it.
Okay.
Not. I don't want to overhype it because it's like really, really simple. But it's definitely worth watching. And then one of the anime I'm currently watching right now is Fairy Tail, and I completed season 2, and I enjoyed it. The little mini arc at the end was basically Fate of the Furious F8, but it's Gray instead of Detective Dom. So if anyone's seen
Whatever
Fate of the
that
Furious,
means.
the last 4 episodes of Fairy Tail season 2 is the plot of Fate of the Furious.
Is that all you've been watching?
Yeah, that's all I've been watching. What we're thinking is we're going to have a special collaboration episode, which I'm sure you would know what it is because we've been talking about it, not so secretively. And then we're going to be taking a break from releasing episodes for a while, but we're still going to be recording. We're not going anywhere, but just with our new schedules and our different schedules, we're just deciding and we're waiting for July and August suck. Okay, we're waiting for October.
Yeah. We're just here for the fall spooky season, okay?
We're just here for the fall spooky season and then me for the winter afterward.
Yes.
So we're just going to be recording a bunch of spooky themed movie episodes, and then we will be releasing them in September and October. So we're not going anywhere, but
I have really been wanting to watch Alien/Aliens, all of the Alien movies, because I've never seen them.
Maddie, during Daredevil, I thought it'd be great to watch all the Alien movies sometime soon.
Oh my god.
Let's go!
Alright, let's go.
Is that what you want to do next? Is also 4 Alien movies?
I want to do 4 Alien movies, I do.
Okay, so next we're going to be watching Alien. Okay, now this might... Maddie, just ignore what I'm about to say, because I'm going to get technical.
La 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 la.
No, I mean, let me rephrase that. Don't worry with what I'm about to say because every Alien movie has 2 versions. I'll tell you what version we're going to watch before we watch it. And all the movies, as far as I know, both cuts of every movie are on HBO or Vudu. So it's going to be fine.
Awesome.
Just trust me, it'll be fine. So we're going to watch the theatrical cut of Alien, the special edition of Aliens, the special edition of Alien 3, and the special edition of Alien Resurrection, which is the only cut of all the 4 movies that I have not seen, because I've seen both cuts of the other movies.
Okay. All right, sweet. So we're going to watch the whole Aliens, everything aliens.
We're not gonna watch any of the prequels, sidequels, or any of that shit. We're just gonna watch the original 4 movies, the quadrilogy.
Okay.
Because if you say everything aliens, that means we'd have to do the 4 or 5 Predator movies: Alien vs Predator 1 and 2, Prometheus, Alien Covenant.
Oh god.
No.
Oh god.
We're just watching Alien 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, let's go. So go home and watch all the Alien movies if you haven't already, because I'm behind.
You can find them on HBO, VHS, Redbox, probably.
Did you say Blockbuster?
Blockbuster. I meant to say VHS. I didn't mean to say Blockbuster. I got my words confused. Yeah, but HBO, VHS, Vudu, DVD, Blu-ray, Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Actually, I have Alien 3 on Laserdisc.
Laserdisc.
I have the first 2 on Blu-ray and the third one on Laserdisc.
Laserdisc.
Yes. Is that how I'm saying it?
You're like Laura Palmer. Lucy Deakins. Your L's are like bleh.
Well, I don't like the way I say L's, so I'm like, I'm gonna try and change it, but I guess I'm not now.
Wait, you don't like the way you say L's?
No, it's so boring. It's so gross.
What?
Like, I don't like it. It's like my L's and my R's. I can't, like, say them properly. And I couldn't as a kid either.
All right, so, yeah, thank you for listening. We're on Instagram, at Film Therapy Podcast. Email us at filmtherapypodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Film Therapy Podcast.
And then our website is filmtherapy.libsyn.com.
Libsyn.
So please go ahead and follow that.
Yes, please. And thanks for listening. We love you. We'll see you next time. Keep therapizing.